in the building. What up, though?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys today?
Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Hey, you know what, people? You see we got a packed house, packed show. Let's have the likes. It should be more appropriate, man. Run those likes up today. And you know what, Flannel Sam? Victor Wembanyama is out for the season. This was shocking news. As soon as Shams put it out there, it was just like, I had to check the account several times because it felt so fake. Like, we just saw him playing. We just saw him get dunked on by Cade Cunningham in the All-Star game. Yeah. It's just like, but when you saw what the issue was is where it gets really, really serious. Yeah. You know, several NBA players over the past year or two have come down with the same type of issue. It's just called, deep vein thrombosis, or effectively a blood clot, and his was in his right shoulder. It may sound familiar for Pistons fans because it's the same thing that Asar Thompson went through as well that caused him to, honestly, he was inactive going back to last season, throughout the offseason, and then even to start this year, he missed the first 20 games of the year.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I was in the back just doing some work yesterday, and I forgot who mentioned it. And I was like, no, he's not. Victor Wembanyama's not out for the season. But, yeah, it was posted on Shams' Twitter, and then it was everywhere. And it is true, and it is unfortunate. Even though it might make a Pistons potential win a little bit easier tonight, you want Victor Wembanyama on the court because when he came out, he was one of the most hyped prospects ever. We never seen someone with that combination of size and skills. And so far in the NBA, he's lived up to the hype. In this season, putting together a 24-point, 11-rebound, 4-assist averages very efficiently as well, leading the NBA in blocks, was a viable candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. That's obviously not going to happen because he's not going to play enough games to qualify. Yeah. But you want to see the brightest stars play and get their shine, and it's just unfortunate. And it's also unfortunate for De'Aaron Fox that he got traded to the Spurs, and now they don't have that duo together.
Yeah, no, for basketball fans in general, this is something I know a lot of people were looking forward to. And then just as it relates to people's health, you want him to be okay. It doesn't matter what fan of what team you are. You want these athletes and these players to be healthy. And to see, it's not just the stars. It's like what this All-Star game to me represented, honestly, was more of a passing of the guard. You saw them finally recognize Cade Cunningham. Obviously, we know Victor Wembanyama is going to be there, but we saw those guys, the Kenny's young stars. And when you look at the OGs, LeBron James, KD, those guys are still going. But it's time now. People are saying, hey, where's the viewership? I believe it's time to have these guys on that main stage, these young stars. And that, to me, is what is also disappointing about the loss of Victor Wembanyama is because he's global. Yeah. This guy is the draw. So it's as an NBA fan as well, this is tough.
He's global, he's a draw, he's box office, and it's not just the numbers, which I've already laid out for you. It's when you watch him play, you see that combination of skills where he'll do you never know on any given night whether he'll do something that you've damn near never seen before on an NBA court. So it's very unfortunate. I hope for the sake of his health he ends up being okay. I hope for the sake of the rest of his career and him reaching those high expectations that he's back on the court next season, because he's got a chance to be one of the all-time greats as long as he stays healthy. And I'm not going to this was a little bit fluky. This was a blood clot. I'm not going to attribute that to the concerns about his size and everything. But unfortunately, one of his seasons is cut short because of something that is pretty serious.
What up,
very serious.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely sad. And, you know, we had the same situation here with Asar Thompson getting a blood clot at a very young age. So you really don't want to see that. And God bless Anson. I love him to death. I understand the conspiracy theories and all that, but the main takeaway should be, you know, this is a young player. He's dealing with something very, very serious. So we just hope and pray that he's able to get back on the court and get back to being himself, get back to being 100%. Because like you said, Victor Wembanyama, he is the future of the NBA. So I just really pray for him and his recovery process.
KG, I like how you mentioned that what Anson said and tinfoil hat Anson said. What did he say?
He keeps saying that there needs to be a conversation. I think he's maybe kind of alluding to maybe the COVID vaccine playing a part in it and stuff like that. Anson get on his tin box, and I love a good conspiracy theory too, but there's just time and place. I just feel like, we should be praying for him right now, hoping that he gets back
I actually thought it was going to be something different.
Honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, KG. The one thing that I will say is Isaiah Stewart did no no favors to those who disagree with Anson Wells. And there was some verbiage when Asar Thompson's news came out that Isaiah Stewart had to remove from his social media accounts. I will just leave that at that, just so it is somewhat balanced. Because I am with you, though, KG. The most important thing is this young guy's health and making sure that they get it right. I remember the Pistons, they went through their thorough aspect of health examinations and tests, and then they came to a place of clearance. And then beyond that, the NBA has its own panel for return to play committee that goes and does its own, effectively making sure that this player is right and good to go. And that's what they did with Asar Thompson. If you look back at when the Pistons said he's good to go, there was still like a couple months that the NBA took their time to check him out and make sure that he was good. So, I like that they're going to, with something like this, it's not like you're coming back from a broken bone.
Yeah.
This one is a little bit different. I'm glad that they're going to take all the time they need to get it right.
Yeah, and maybe, and this is where I'm not going to be like tinfoil flannel or anything, but maybe this is a situation where the Spurs can, I don't want to say tank a little bit, but get a high draft pick and add to that roster. Because I don't think they're going to do anything this season without Victor Wembanyama, even though they won last night and they added, of course, De'Aaron Fox. We shall see. It's just unfortunate, and it's one of those things when you hear it, you think it's a joke. You think people are just effing with you in the back, and alas, it was not.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man. And it's as I get older, I find myself becoming even more and more a purveyor of those other teams and players. Like growing up, it was like, nah, F all them other teams. I don't got time for them, man. Just Pistons, Tigers, Wings, Lions, Michigan, man. But now all of a sudden you're seeing these guys that we got invested in during these draft processes. We thought we had an opportunity to get a Victor Wembanyama, which I still believe the Pistons were robbed of that, man. I'm just going to continue to say that fifth pick after fifth pick after fifth pick. But you know what? It's not going to matter this year because it doesn't seem like they care about that first pick, that first-round pick this year. It's going to convey to, I believe, the Timberwolves have it now after the trade with Karl-Anthony Towns with the New York Knicks. 29-26.
Yeah.
6th seed. 1 game behind the Milwaukee Bucks. 2 games behind the Indiana Pacers. And there's so many implications to how this Pistons team finishes the season because, in my opinion, I like the Knicks and the Pacers on the potential playoff menu. And the Pistons, though, have to lock down at least that 6th seed. Right now, the way things are looking, when you factor in Bobby Portis is out for basically the majority of the season, and Giannis is still out, the Pistons have to strike now. They play on the road tonight, and they come home for a bunch of games. You can basically live at LCA next week if you go to the games.
And let's just be honest. Now we got to talk the Pistons angle of it. The fact that Wemby's out, go beat the Spurs.
Boat race.
It's just the reality of the situation. Obviously, I'd rather have Wemby play just as a basketball fan, but from the Pistons' perspective, go into San Antonio and beat the Spurs tonight. This is a game that is much more winnable without Victor Wembanyama than with, in my opinion.
Yep. What up, though, KG?
No, I mean, you are really excited for what the Pistons can do in this second half. And like you said, nobody's apologizing for anybody in the league, so you got to take advantage, of a situation. And the Pistons are in prime position to do that. They have a good stretch of games here to where they can really give themselves a gap in terms of, the win-loss record and maybe even up their place in the standings when you just look at where the Bucks are at right now. But I think everything is ahead for the Pistons, although I said 42 wins. That was just me being safe as a fan, y'all. But call it what you will. But I know that the Pistons can achieve more than that. I just want to be able to see it. But I'm so proud of the trajectory of this team so far.
It also helps getting the 4 seed because Bobby Portis is suspension as well for 25 games. I know we played the Bucks 2 times to end the season in our last 4 games, which he will be there for. But just being able to have him out for a while and be able to maybe get a little bit of a gap on the Bucks to get that 4 seed would be really nice for the Pistons.
It would be epic, man. And you know what? Yesterday, somebody had a comment for KG on Woodward Pistons. I just said 42 wins. You know what today's comment is, KG?
What up?
The effing Post-it note. Rod Beard is the GOAT. He's a legend.
Oh my
He got the 42 Post-it note up on the wall, man. So,
hey, but you don't want to give me my credit. Some of the people that on the clip that we had, man, they were saying 42 as well. I wasn't just the only one.
Listen, you were the most bullish on the Pistons from the beginning of the season, and I will continue to make sure we tip the cap. But
Thank you.
I do think it was funny, man. Shout
And
out
on
to Rod.
today's
Y'all
episode
thought
of
they went 26 games.
On today's episode of Wake Up Woodward, KG predicts the Bulls to pass them and the Pistons to get the 10th seed.
No!
I'm kidding.
One quick question.
We know you kidding.
Here we go. Your second, obviously we made our bold statements, but just summarize your second half outlook of success for the Detroit Pistons. Flannel Sam, what up, though?
45 wins. That's my prediction. And as Justin just said, and as you've said, the Milwaukee Bucks, they've been vulnerable all season. They've had injury issues, and they're going to be even more vulnerable with the. I ultimately think 5. I ultimately think 5.
And you know what? I see the anguish in your face because I see the path to 4.
Yeah.
But I do believe 5 is where they can settle the best.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to make a good play for 4.
Yeah.
There's when you look at the Pacers and the Bucks, and you know, and the Knicks, when you know the animosity that they have with the Pacers, that's where I'm like, you know what? Go out there and play for something. You can absolutely ruin the Halliburton season to a degree and potentially have a first-round matchup with them where you're hosting it.
I mean,
the city would be on fire, bro. It would be electric. It would be. What up, though, JB Smooth? I see you over there.
I'm just saying, no, I know you're going to get to everyone, but hey, y'all call me crazy when I said we're going to scratch and claw for that 4th spot, that 4th seed, and look at it right now. Look at how things happen. Bobby Porter's out for 25 games. Jaden Ivey out of the walking boot at the practice facility.
Yeah.
See,
Blood
look,
in the water.
boom, perfect. I'm telling you.
Hey, what's the second half strategy for you, KG? What seed are they finishing in?
I really think they'll be locked into 5. I want to say the 4 seed so bad. We don't know what to really expect out of the Pacers because we've seen them play, bad stretches of basketball. But overall, they have a lot of talent on that team. I feel like they'll be able to maybe surge at the end and finish the job. But I'll say 5th seed just to be safe.
What up, though? Summertime.
Go with 4th seed. I see them taking the Pacers spot.
let's go.
Yeah.
Dang, the
Yeah.
panoramic view.
JB's
All right.
smooth
I'm just saying.
in the building.
That shit look like that 70s show camera.
That's epic.
it out.
What's that second half strategy? Who's like a key player for you? Obviously, besides Cade and Beasley, how's it going down the second half of the season?
I honestly think Asar is going to do really, really good.
Oh, I like it.
Honestly, yeah, defensively and offensively, we've kind of seen him give us like a little bit of everything. So I think he's going to be like the third person to really step up. And then Duren, of course.
Yeah, and you know what? It's awesome to see that it's the young players because we've talked about this too, Flannel. We've seen the other rebuilds be bolstered by the fact that those young players are the ones taking the steps forward. When you look at the Orlando Magic, even with the Houston Rockets, yes, Fred VanVleet plays a big difference, but Alperen Sengun, he was an all-star this year.
Yeah.
And those things matter to, the health of your organization as well as how well you thrive. I do believe those Pistons land in the 5th seed. I believe that Cade takes another leap forward in this second half of the season. I think it's just going to be silly time for him. And I'm being so serious. And with Dennis Schroeder here, we've all talked about it. I look forward to those minutes when Schroeder and Cade Cunningham are in the game at the same time. And then you have cutters like Asar Thompson, finishers at the rim like a Jalen Duren. This thing, I don't know, man. I don't want to get too bullish. I don't want to drink too much of the Kool-Aid. But this is a team, and I'm going to say this again for like the 10th time in the show, tap in. We said this when this team was like 2-6 or whatever it was. Tap into this squad, man. They've been one of the best teams in the NBA the last 30 games. They've been one of the best defensive teams in the NBA since January 1st. They've had some of the best, you look across the stats, some of the best rim protectors, they got a couple of those. Some of the best finishers at the rim, they got a couple of those. Some of the best at shooting the three-point shot, they got a couple of those, man. This team is put in the work. And ESPN even is pondering, are they going to sweep Coach of the Year, Most Improved, and Sixth Man of the Year?
They could.
They could.
They really could. I think that 6-man might be a little bit tough because Peyton Pritchard's had such a good year. But at the same time, Malik Beasley, what if he stays at second in the NBA in three-pointers made? What if he gets first? That's going to be tough because, Ant Edwards is having a crazy year shooting the three. But that could happen. And before we move on, I just have one challenge to my fellow Pistons fans, and I myself am going to participate in this challenge. If you're at LCA, every single time Cade Cunningham steps to the free throw line, I want to hear MVP, MVP, every single time, without fail. because he will be in the conversation, especially if like Kool-Aid said, he takes an even another leap, which
I think
it would be insane.
I think he can. I for some reason, I when I look at those stats, I'm looking at Cade saying, bro, how do I get to 10 assists a game? How do I average a double-double? Like, I just do. You look at the triple-doubles as well. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go. Chuck Brewer, he said Kool-Aid, 10 games in is a, what does he say? 30 games is the new norm. Hey, Chuck, definitely resend that in because I know you're one of our Piston ball knowers. Just want to make sure that you get your due. But what'd you say? Streak. Oh, streak? Oh, okay. I didn't know if
It looks like 10 games is
stream.
a streak because he's just missing the K. So
Got you.
that's Chuck. I'm just guessing, but
30 games is the new norm. Well, you know what? 27 games to go. Game 1 of the post All-Star break is tonight. And you know what? Go out there and win.
Yes, go out there and win. And when we come back, unfortunately, we have to talk about a team that did not win last night, but in a lot of ways made us proud, going up against the best in the world. We got to break that down. But first, why not give Feldman some extra love today? Because they gave some extra love to me. My car payment is very, very